Hello, good morning, welcome, or welcome back. This is now officially day 4 of Vlogmas. If you've seen my history, I know I'm a new channel, but like 4 days in a row is like. I got sleep, okay? It's a day off. I get to basically go with the flow. I don't have anything on my schedule other than grocery shopping and filming and an appointment. But regardless, I have until like 1 o'clock. I feel like I want to film too. And then I will turn around, get everything ready, do my thumbnail and all that, and post for a 4 o'clock upload. I feel like 4 o'clock is a safe time to set it. I don't know. It's consistent and it helps me not panic more. So, what is on the docket for today? I think I'm going to just put in some more work. As you can see, we've got more work because before we were only two rows where the white came in. So we're doing some stuff. I've got my phone kind of set up here. You can kind of see it in the little corner there. So that I can get some more like B-roll of me actually knitting. I've got some episodes of Mystery of the Abandoned to catch up on. I may have a Chicago Med to watch. I have a dog who knows that it's 8 o'clock and he needs to go outside. And we got our first real snow. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm out here in the Rocky Mountain area for Colorado. So, how are you guys feeling? I kind of had a whole little slip and slide moment. Go figure, like less than 10 minutes from home. If something's gonna happen, statistically, it's always whenever you're like in the final stretch, right? So I'm gonna let this guy out for a few minutes, figure out when he wants to come back in. I'm going to finish my second cup of coffee because my second cup of joe is right here, and I'm almost debating a third. 10 o'clock, I have an appointment, so we'll see just how much more. I'm going to put a stitch marker so that we can see just how much more length that we get on this. And we'll take it from there. We'll see how many episodes I can get through. And if Chicago Med was updated or not. I'll let you know. What shows do you watch whenever you knit / crochet / craft? I'm curious. I've got Discovery Plus for History and Food Network, HGTV if I really feel like it. I've got Netflix with a convenient ad blocker, so I pay the cheapest tier. And Peacock. So, what all do you guys watch? I definitely need some things to add to my little queue of things to help play in the background. I also need to finish a couple audiobooks, so that could be on the docket too. Um, but yeah, welcome or welcome back. Let's get into it. Also, just a yarn check-in, right? This is how much we've got left of what? Good Cheer Sparkle. This is how much we have left of Bright and Merry. So definitely have enough of Good and Merry. And for Good Cheer, we will have to tap into another skein here soon, but that's okay. Ironically, the center pole was at the very bottom of the skeins. So, fun times. Let's get this going. I said I was going to put a stitch marker in this. Let's finish this one row. And then I will put the stitch marker in. Also taking a break from my compression gloves for now. But ooh boy, can I kind of feel it in my bony little wrists. Where did I put my stoppers for my knitting? There they are. Behind my camera. Doesn't do me a lot of good there now, does it? Sweet. I set a timer for 5 minutes for Marty. So hopefully, it's pretty chilly out there, but you'd swear that he was a snow dog. So I figure at about 8 o'clock I can let him out off of the leash. He's really good about not barking when he's on the leash. So this is really the time for him to be able to run around, go play in the snow, and then me turn around and turn on my heated blanket, because he will ultimately end up on my bed and needing to warm up. So we've got less than a minute left, which should be more than enough to knock out another row. How's your holiday season going so far? I am really grateful that work seems to be busy, but not like too busy. They seem to be having troubles getting the trucks in on time, so, or at least that's the excuse they keep telling our operations team. But who knows? I've got, oh, that's the time to go check on Marty. I've got 7 years of working in logistics, so I can only imagine what may or may not be happening behind the scenes. I personally did not participate in any Black Friday sales. One, I was working. And two, there was nothing I really wanted to buy. I would be interested in looking at a couple different camera setups for vlogging. At least to help show, like, my crafting, because I do so much more than just knitting and crochet. I also paint, I sketch, and I'm kind of in a place where I have outgrown the family home, and I really need to get into a space of my own so that I can have like a craft room and kind of feel like my own little personal definition of success. I want to be able to keep a comfortable living situation. I would like to not necessarily be like a millionaire, right? Because with this whole hustle culture, everyone's pretty much like, you gotta do this, this, and this. Your goal is to hit this arbitrary number. And it's like, my goal is to be able to find a partner, to have a comfortable space for me, said person, and my dog, maybe their fur babies if they have them, and just, I want to be able to just live my life, take a couple vacations, and go explore when I want to explore, right? Like, I feel like it's like the standard. It's what I feel like the minimum should be, but it feels like it's such an outlandish dream right now. Let me go check on Marty. Let's hop back into this episode.
Thousands of people, and they built some pretty famous vehicles, like the Rover 10, the Meteor, and the Light 6.
Rover made most of the cars they manufactured in-house. They made the chassis, the engine, even the wheels. And in doing so, they established themselves as a trusted British automobile manufacturer.
But why would they put a factory underground? Rover may have been a car manufacturer, but they weren't making automobiles down here. This was a shadow factory.
So, update. I know I kind of paused that off on a little cliffhanger, but I don't know about you. I'm a bit of a history buff. I love learning about, like, abandoned facilities, right? Like, maybe it's like that millennial in me, because, like, you know, occults and ghosts and whatnot. I'm gonna turn off it, or let's deflect that light so I'm not being bleached out as much. But it's like all these buildings that are like all decrepit now, they obviously had a purpose at one point. And it's so crazy to see how our building standards have completely changed. Like, they want to talk about how, like, us, the citizens, have gotten comfortable in, like, post-war era, even though I would argue that we're all living... We have so many micro wars going on in the world, that it's... We may not be in the middle of the fight ourselves, but we're feeling the economic strain of it, right? And regardless of how people want to look at it, countries make their money in post-war times. So if they cause some sort of crisis and they can go to war, then ultimately they can reap the rewards of it, right? This is kind of what history is showing us time and time again. Forgive my rants. This is my opinion. It's okay. It's all right, right? It's my neurospicy observations and pattern recognition. And so for this, I thought it was interesting that in World War II, they would make these shadow factories and then underneath car dealerships, right? Which, like, initially, that's like, ooh, ooh. So they would build cars, and then when the country needed them, they would turn around and start manufacturing aircrafts beneath the facility. You'd have all these workers who would essentially shift gears, right? And even though, like, the big issue was that, you know, it's not like during World War II they didn't figure it out. And so those were easy targets, which is why they had to move them underground. But to then understand that they built these bunkers, and, like, one would say that you would want to build these things to last because you never know how long these periods would go for when you're going through the thick of it, right? But them being able to take these old facilities and repurpose them as much, what's the the better word for it? Like, World War II was awful. Awful. And for our architecture, they built some amazing things. There are facilities that, yes, in the time, in the moment, were not geared for the best of purposes. But there's a building, even in Germany, that's now being modernized for apartments, because the bones of these structures are so strong, because they built them not only with rebar and everything, but they reinforced it with concrete. So it's just, it's mind-boggling how, like, there are structures nowadays that they can't go through one storm. It's like cars, right? They used to build cars to last because companies had so much pride in their brand that that was their status quo. Their whole thing was, we want to build a product that the customer will come back to time and time again. But now, like, I feel like cars are a huge scam. Cars, trucks, SUVs, because they're built to fall apart. They're built to, yes, make sure that you get out of the accident, 9 times out of 10, I would hope, fairly alive, but there is no repairing the vehicle. But then you're also stuck with the bill, right? If you get a bad enough hailstorm and your insurance totals out your car, they'll total out the car. They're not going to zero out your loan so that you can go get a new car. So you're constantly rolling over that debt. I say this as someone who is being forced to look into cars because I had a little meeting with Bambi at 2 o'clock in the morning on my way to work back in end of June, early July, and my car got totaled. So now I am very fortunate that Mom and Dad are letting me drive their Honda. And I'm trying to figure out, how is little old me going to figure out how to move out, get a vehicle. I know I'm going to have to get something used because of all this BS around subscriptions for basic services that you need to be able to check out your vehicle, which I only feel like is opening them up to lawsuits. when someone tells me, oh yeah, now you have to pay a prescription to see your oil level. Be like, I'm sorry, did you suddenly take on the cost of maintaining this vehicle? If so, sweet. That's on you. But if it's like, no, you just have to pay the subscription and then you can see it. And then go pay for the oil change. Like, people aren't that stupid, right? That's a scam. That's a scam. I'd rather go to, like, a third-party person and rip out the seats, put in my own heated seats, customize my vehicle, right? You can tell when corporations have lost the plot. That's okay. It's late stage capitalism talking to us, right? The books are going to balance. It's just being able to sit down and kind of navigate the chaos while at least keeping your head on straight. Because what more can you do, right? Hoo boy. My little rant's done for that. I will check in with you. We have done how many rows now? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're working on a 7th row. We're getting there. Alright, taking a small pause just because I need to eat. I've got my lovely little trail mix, which consists of semi-sweet dark chocolate bits. I've got almonds and cashews, along with some candy corn, because that is my favorite candy, and I am not out yet. I have some chicken patties being made in my air fryer, and I got my Reed's, not sponsored. None of this is sponsored. Reed's Original with real ginger ale. It's got organically pressed ginger in it versus like an extract. So, sweet. Oh, yeah. I'm still working on this episode. These are like 45-minute episodes, which is awesome. I may also consider jumping back. I was rewatching the Jurassic Park series. I got through the OG trilogy, which is still chef's kiss. Love it. And I need to get through the second installment, which is Jurassic World. What? Why do I not know what the second title was called? Fallen Kingdom, and then Dominion. I've seen the first, the second. I have not seen Dominion, and then of course I haven't seen Rebirth yet. So, I'm very curious. And that's another series that I can sit down and binge a lot of knitting in while watching it on my laptop, right? It's all currently on Peacock, so awesome move on that. What does Amazon want? Amazon. Apparently someone called me? Probably called me when I walked away from my phone. I feel like nothing is better than a day off when... Oh, and look, they did not leave a voicemail. Can we normalize leaving voicemails again? Because I feel like if you call me and you don't leave a voicemail, then it wasn't important and you were probably a spammer. Okay. My air fryer just finished. Let me go get my food real quick. Okay. I've got my lovely little chicken paggies. Mercury is not in retrograde anymore. Okay. Also, happy full moon in Gemini. Set your intentions. Be careful with Gemini. But carb fit bun. So I get fiber, I get protein, and I get low carb. I've got my chicken patty, 4 cheese slice, some sugar-free barbecue sauce, and some pickles. It's almost like a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Okay? But not Chick-fil-A. And then I have those Simply white cheddar Doritos. Not sponsored. I'm going to eat my lunch. I need to go get my medication. I have 30 minutes until I have to hop in and chat with my therapist. And then we'll move on to more knitting. Okay? Sweet. Well, that glitched. I have to finish for the day, but I just finished the skein. That was the first for Good Cheer Sparkle Ombre. And now I get to tie on one of my other cakes. So we've made a lot of progress. We have done, get ready, like from here upwards, right? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 36 rows. Okay? 36 rows. And I still have this much of the weight too. So, I'm thinking that I will go, because right now it's just kind of like able to drape over the shoulders. I do want to be able to kind of like wrap it. So if I double it, I may be able to double it with the weight 2 yarn. Which then I could also consider, instead of doing tassels, what if I sewed it together and made it like a cowl or an infinity scarf? So that's where I'm at. I gotta go do some grocery shopping. And I gotta get my dad's Sonic burritos. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I hit a patch of black ice, and I kind of decided at that moment that I was done driving for the day. So I got some things on the docket that I gotta finish knocking out before I go to bed. And that means that this will be the final installment for this one video. I'll make my thumbnail and I'll get everything scheduled to go up at 4 o'clock. So, we made some progress and I can't wait. So, I now know that basically 2 days is what it takes to go through this if I like really sit down and do it. We'll see if they drop any more VTO for the rest of the week. If they do, then I may get more work done. If they don't, then maybe 3 more days. So like a week. A week, seeing as we also went and made our little crochet headband, right? That's a thought. I do also have to work on my niece's stuffed dino. So the scarf may have to take a break. Maybe. We'll see. Niece is a priority. Cannot fail the niece. So, I will wish you a great full moon in Gemini. Make sure to set your manifestations for tonight. And yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow. All right? Have a great day. If you have noticed, I have been putting my Etsy link down in the description box. Don't feel obligated for it. If you would like to purchase any of the handmade items, that's how you know that we're wrapping up here. Then you can check my Etsy store that is linked below. And yeah, I try to update it. And I'd like to get back into designing some stickers again. But my ADHD is hyper focused on fiber arts. I got a lot of yarn that I gotta knock out. So, need to clear up some space. But that'll be all for me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.